browser automation, and something like Playwright is all you need to scrape data that you're after. And in this video, I'm going to do just that. I'm just going to use Playwright on its own, nothing else, and we're going to scrape the data from this site. There's something like 700 and something items in this category, but this would work across any of these categories in this sales section. But before we write any code, the first thing that I always do is have a look at the site so I can know what's going on. So I want to show you a few things first. Now, this is a paginated website here, and you can see that we have these buttons that we go to the next page. But if we check out the product page first, we'll show you that we don't need to do a lot of parsing, and that's why I'm happy to use Playwright in its entirety for this. I don't particularly like using Playwright or Selenium when I have to do a load of parsing. Now, when you're on a dedicated product page like this, always come to view page source and then do search for the word schema and see what you can find. Now, I did a video on this on my channel. A little bit earlier, but this here is all valid JSON, and we can access it from this script tag and grab it out here. So if I copy this and we go to JSON parser online, paste this in, if I copied the whole thing rather, like this, paste it in, it's valid JSON, and you can see that this is all of the information we could ever want from this product. Is basically the schema, which is standard. So this is very, very good for us to have. So I'm going to close that, and that's how we're going to get the product information from each of the detail pages. So what we want to do is we want to loop through all of the product pages per page, and then go to the next page and do the same, and then go to the next page and do the same. As I said, we're going to do that in Playwright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a virtual environment first, Python 3-m venv venv, and then we'll pip install what we need once we've activated that. And I'm going to install Playwright, and I'm also going to install Rich. Just makes it easier when I print stuff to my terminal when I'm running it, so you guys can see you don't need that here. Then you want to do Playwright install. I'm going to do Playwright install Chromium only because I don't need the other ones. It gives me this error, but I've already installed it, so I know it works. It's fine in that case. Cool, so I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call this main.py, and I'm going to open this up in my code editor. I'm using Helix. I'm really enjoying Helix at the moment. I've pretty much moved from NeoVim to it. Whatever code editor is fine. So let's start by importing what we need. So we'll do from playwright.sync API. We're going to import in the sync playwright and also the playwright module itself. And then from rich, import print, and we will import in anything else we need as we go. So it's very simple to run Playwright just on its own. I'm going to keep this as straightforward as possible. So we're going to stick with the default of the run function. And this takes in an instance of Playwright, which I'm going to use for these type hints here. And then pass. And then we have our with sync Playwright as Playwright. We're just going to run it down here. So this is going to run our code for us. So we're going to put everything in this run function. As I said, because we don't have to do loads of parsing, it's not going to be that difficult. There's not going to be too many lines of code. We'll end up with like 50 or 60 lines of code. So it's all good in that respect. Right, so let's get this a little bit started first. So we're going to say that we'll have a start URL, and I'll grab that in just a second. Then we'll have our Chrome, which is going to be equal to playwright.chromium. Then our browser, which is going to be equal to chrome.launch. And then our new page, which is going to be equal to browser.page, new page, like so. This is going to basically launch Playwright for us, create the browser context, create a new page for us, etc., etc. Then we're going to do page.go to our start URL like this. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to come over to my other terminal, and I'm going to activate my virtual environment here. And we'll just do Python main.py, and we should cannot navigate to an invalid URL. Of course you can't. I didn't put the URL in there. That would help. So let's put you in there. Save now. Let's run it again. Okay, cool. So it did nothing, but it did nothing, but it didn't not work. We are going to need to use headless is equal to false here. And that is because when we run it completely headless, there's a giveaway. Unless you remove that, there's a giveaway that the website knows what's going on, so it doesn't work. So we're going to do this. We're going to see the browser open here and load this page up and then disappear. So I'm happy. I know that that's all working. So let's construct the main part of our code that is going to go to every product page and return that data for us. Now I'm going to put this in a while true. Now this is just a continuous loop that I'm going to use, and I'm going to break out of it on a condition. It's up to you. However you want to loop through, however it works for you, that's fine. But we need to grab the links now for the page, for each of the product pages on the main page. So I'm going to go to the inspect tool. I'm going to grab the selector for this, and here it is over here. This thing here with the data-selenium thing is on the main page. So I'm going to go to the inspect tool. I'm going to grab the selector for this. And here it is over here, this thing here with the data-selenium thing. So to do that, we're going to do for link in page dot locator. Now the locator is going to allow us to use CSS selectors to actually grab the element. So I'm going to say a, and I was data dash selenium, which equaled this thing here, and we want to do dot all, and this returns an iterator with all of the links. A bit like find all if you're used to Beautiful Soup or something like that. What we want to do now is we don't want to use the original page. We don't want to use this to go to that. Whilst that is a valid approach, I'm going to create a new page every time and open it up, so I don't have to go back and forth between loading up the different pages. I can just load up the list page, all the product pages separately, and then the next page from the list page. So to do that, we do p is equal to browser dot new page, like so. And because we're not clicking, we want to create a base URL for this. I'm just going to grab that, which is this here, and I'll show you that in just a second. So that's a base URL, and the reason why we do that is because just over here above my head, so that's a base URL. And the reason why we do that is because just over here above my head, you'll see that the href is not a complete link. It's not a full absolute URL. So we need to put the base bit in front of it. So when we open it, we can go to this page here. Now we want to do our URL is going to be equal to link.attribute is in front of just this URL equal to all the load original. It's ours. So which is over here page. So I'm going to go to the inspect tool. I'm going to grab the selector. All of that this from the YouTube. I'll show you that in my head. Absolutely go dot like so. This is the attribute, the actual link bit, which is going to get added onto the base URL here. So now we want to do p.goto the URL like so. Now you'll notice it's saying on my error here that we can't be, it's a string or a none, and that's because this attribute may or may not exist. So what we're going to do is if URL is not none, p.goto the URL, else p.close, and then basically that just handles that error there, just in case. If this doesn't exist, it doesn't try and go to it because it doesn't exist, and it just closes that browser context there. Cool, so let's save and come back over here, and let's run this now. We should open up a page, and then open up the next one, the next one, the next one. Cool, so these are all the product pages that are opening up. We do have an issue here, is that they are not closed, because so they are going to hang around forever and cause us untold misery. So So what we want to do now is, whilst we're in our loop here, p.close. Cool. So let's do this again. Close. Hold misery. So what we want to do now is, whilst we're in our loop here, p.close. Cool. So let's do this again, and we should now open up a page, close it, open up the next one, close it, like so. So you can see that we're going through all of the product pages here, which hold the information that we're actually wanting to scrape. Now there's about 28 or something per page, so that's going to do this 28-ish times. All in all, it's not going to be the quickest thing in the world, but it's not going to be that bad. You could easily set this to run. I reckon the whole thing would probably take about an hour, if that, which is not that big a deal. So now that we're loading the detail page up, we want to take the schema data, which I showed you from here. We want to grab this wherever it's gone. We want to grab this here. So this is the script tag with the application LD plus JSON. Whenever you see this, it's likely to have this information in here. So we can do the same thing again. We can do data is equal to p.locator, and it was a script, and it's a LD, and it was a type is equal to do I copy it? Application LD plus JSON. From this, we want the text content like so. So now I'm going to print out the data like this, and we'll run a few, and we'll see that we should get that information spat out to our terminal. It's going to be a bit difficult to see, but you can basically see it coming across here now. And that is exactly all the information that we want. I'm going to stop this. We don't need it to run. So this is all the data there. So what I'm going to do is we'll just clear this screen up, and we'll come back to our code here. I've somehow ended up with an extra terminal that I don't need. Great. So now we've got this data. What we're going to do is we're going to make it into JSON. So we'll do import JSON, and we'll come down here. Yeah, to back information data to do I copy it? Application product pages is the information like this, and we go to JSON parser online. We're out here to do a load of parsing. Now, when you're on a dedicated product page like this, always come to view page source, and then do search for the word schema.
Can't figure this out right now. The way this guy's doing it, he's getting like to schema. But I don't got that in here. So, not too sure. Anyone got any ideas? That's what I'm dealing with right now.
And it's a LD. It was a type.
Listen, it's called Connect Team, and it's insane. I don't do schedules or timesheets manually anymore.
And it works?
Oh, like you wouldn't believe it. My team puts in their availability, I click auto schedule, and boom, there it goes. No more Excel, no more phone calls, no more group chats.
Oh.
Perfect schedule, like that.
Damn, so all you gotta do is post it.
Yeah, my team loves that it's just one app, so they see their shifts, they can approve it, and I know it's covered.
But wait, what if there's like a
Go
last
check
minute
'em out.
change? I mean, that's the afternoon gone, right?
So in that case, I just blast a shift for my team to claim, everyone sees it, and I just assign the first one to pick it up. It literally takes 2 minutes. I'm telling you, it's all in the app. So they clock.
All right, so we're going to use our new favorite tool, Playwright, and our old faithful Scrapey, and so we can web scrape those really heavy JavaScript websites. Using Scrapey Playwright, we have access to Playwright within the Scrapey. Alright, so we're going to use our new favorite tool, Playwright, and our old faithful Scrapey, and so we can web scrape those really heavy JavaScript websites. Using Scrapey Playwright, we have access to Playwright within the Scrapey request. What it will do is it will use Playwright to load up the page, and it will then send the response back to Scrapey, so we still have access to all
My energy bill dropped from $150 to $50 by doing this. My friends laughed at me when I spent
in the construction industry.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
At the end of that, so we just get the text of that element. In this video, I'm going to show you another method for scraping dynamic content and JavaScript websites with Python. In previous videos, I've showed you how we can use Selenium to load the page up and then go through all the elements and extract the text that we need. But this method is going to use Selenium just to load the page, and then we're going to return the HTML that
This fucking sucks. I'm gonna need a few days on this one. I'm gonna have to figure out how to sift through this first. I'll fuck around with it a little bit more. I'm gonna hop off though. Hello. Have a good one, guys. I am, as I said, gonna go watch Yellowstone. Peace.